what do you think is your unique selling point?
I love this question because I hear it with so many business owners when you ask them that. It's my course, it's my strategy, it's marketing, it's whatever it is they think is their talent, but it's none of them. It's themselves. That's a unique selling point where it doesn't matter who the business is or business owner is. That's a unique selling point all the time because it's what you bring to it. That's what matters most. You can have 10 people who've all got, you give them the exact same business in a box. Now you just all go and do that. And yet you won't get the same result from the 10 people. But everything they have to start with is the exact same. No one's going to change. They've got rules, everything they've got to do. This is what you've got to follow. But it'll still be different because of that individual.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Because I always say there's so many people who do a similar thing to you, right? Like who offer a similar service but that none of them are you. So none of them have your personality, your specific history and background and life experience and work experience and all of these things that come together, which and I think this is one of the things that irritates me a lot when people go like, oh, I just write everything through AI. And I'm like, but AI makes you sound like everybody else. And you need to sound like you, right? Because that's what sets it apart. And I think sometimes I think we have such a blind spot for what makes us unique. And I mean, I certainly do, because you tell me all the time that I do. But I think also it's because we're so used to our unique talents. They come so naturally to us. So obviously we don't value them enough because like someone asked me the other day, like, what's it like working in a group with you? And I was like, I don't know, because I can't compare it to working in a group without me. I've never not worked with me, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't know what that is like.
And that's a great way of looking at it, actually. And I think you're right. It's a lot of things that people think about their business or about what they should do. I love a saying we have in Glasgow is you see tourists coming, you ask them why they come, and they'll walk around and say, look at the beautiful buildings that you've got here. Look at the history, the architecture, look at all the great art, all the things we've got. But there's a big sign when you come into Glasgow, you can see on the motorway, and it says people make Glasgow.
Yeah, I mean, you see it all over Glasgow.
Yep, and that's the thing. Glasgow is not the infrastructure, it's not the buildings, it's not the history, it's not anything like that. It's the people within. They make Glasgow the way it is because they're unique. And every individual you meet is unique. Every single one of them will have their own perspective on things. You can say that about every city do it, but Glasgow prides itself in that the people are such a special race of people. If someone gets hurt or someone's down, everybody will come and help. Everyone ready to do it. You see it all the time, even on things like social media. I've had a lot of people recently tell me they hate social media and what's happened in the news recently about the children's thing in the States. But at the same time, you look at your community groups, and I looked on a community thing on here, and you see unique selling points every day. And it's not the selling anything, it's the fact is it's the people, and that's what the other people relate to. They see someone else in their area. They would, for example, one of the other day, rather than going to a big supermarket and buying some things and going this, because it's fresh veg and that. Simple, cheap enough there. But there's somebody who does a little stall near us down here that does it. And people saying they'd rather go and pay that little bit extra to see that person prosper than go and give it to the supermarket. And that's the kind of thing you want. That's the people. That's what makes it. People in business are the exact same.
Well, and I think as well, like even if you take out the business perspective, right? Like we all have a number of friends around us, and when you're facing a problem or a challenge, and like exactly which friend to go to for that particular ask, right? Because you know that person's very good at DIY, so they can help you hang that picture or whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? But you know exactly who you go to, and you also know exactly like, oh, I'm not going to ask that person that question because I'm going to get an answer that's not going to be helpful to me.
Yeah.
And I think it's that's still unique selling points, even though they're not selling anything. But everybody has
Yeah.
their sort of unique way of being and showing up and supporting you in the way that suits them or that suits their talents. And I think it's exactly the same in our business, right?
Yeah, for me, people that know me know what I call this. I call them trusted advisors. That's people around about me that I know if I get stuck with anything, I can go to and say, look, this is what's happened, this is the issue I've got in here. What can I do with this? Because you're right, they're all experts in their own field, experts that I'm not at, even as a coach. People say to me, but you're a coach and a therapist. Why do you need to go to another therapist for an idea or another coach? Because sometimes you just need a different perspective. And some
Well,
people, a bit of the
it's
other
like I always
senior.
say, right? You can't see the label, you can't read the label when you're inside the jar.
That's it. And there's
That's
times when,
exactly what it is.
yeah, and I need their perspective on it because they can see the picture. Because you mentioned something earlier about you don't know what it's like to not be in a group with you because you're always in the group. That's the same as when you're in the business. You can't always see what's happening around about because you're in there. And I say to people all the time, you need to be able to step out your business a lot of time to actually look at it as a coach, as a business advisor, whatever, and say, right, where am I going here? But you still have your um, buy into that. So sometimes what you've got an unconscious bias that you don't realise you've got. It just means that you've got things in there that'll make your perspective maybe a bit wayward from what you want to look at. But getting someone else to come in with fresh eyes who's got nothing to do with your business, but that's their inner genius. They can look at it and say, I used your example, the other day, someone, is when I can say things even on things like this, and we just talk these conversations out of subject, and later on you'll pick one bit out and say, that's someone that you use. And I went, I don't even remember saying that. But you can hear that and you go, actually, that'd be quite good. I'll take that. And I
Yeah.
went, that's something that it's your unique selling point is that you can see that. You can see patterns or trends and things like that that other people don't in the language. And that's why you're right about AI is great as a tool, but if everybody does it, everybody uses AI, then you will lose that individuality.
You,
You will
you
lose that inner genius in yourself.
exactly. You still need to have the right recipe that you put in there, and by that I don't mean the right prompt or the whatever, but you have to put in to AI what you need because all it does is mix it up. And
Yeah,
it sounds great, but you have to insert your personality and your uniqueness into it. Because otherwise, I always say if what you're writing wouldn't look out of place on someone else's website or someone else's social media, then it's not right. It has to sound like you, especially
yeah,
when you're a one person business. It has to sound like you, because otherwise, people are buying into something that you won't be able to offer.
yeah. And the thing that's good about it is it helps you to structure that ideas, your suggestions, the things, your thoughts. You can put it in and it will structure it maybe better for you that will help. And that's a
Sure.
good thing about AI is, and you talk about AI, people talk about it for the content, but it's not, it's everything. You can use it just about any part of a business. You can use an AI to do that. But the unique side of it for me, the genius that people have, is when they look at what the AI writes and you go, that's good, but it would be even better if, and then they add that personality, then you add your own bits into it.
Yeah.
And before you realise, you actually changed quite a bit of it. But what it did was stimulate the idea in your head that maybe it's been sitting there but not quite looking, you know how to put it down on paper. But that does that for you, and then you say, actually, that would be good, but what I need to do is, or I need to say this, or I wouldn't say it that way. And that's what you need to do. Never take something out of AI the first time.
No.
And the one weird thing about it is, if you're a business on your own, AI is a fantastic way of having a colleague
Yeah.
because you can brainstorm with it, run
Yeah.
ideas by it. I don't like that. What else could you look at? Keep pushing it, and eventually what you'll find is because what you're putting in, it will give out exactly your voice because it realizes that you're questioning everything it does, and the type of questions you ask, the language you're using, that's what it'll pick up on. That's your genius. That's
Hmm.
the bits in you. But never be frightened of putting something out there about how you feel about something because as long as it's not going to do harm to other people, obviously, but what you're putting out there to people is you have other people who are probably sitting there at home looking at you thinking, how do they know that? That's exactly how I'm thinking. But they're scared to put it out there because it doesn't quite sound right or it might not be right. They want everything to be perfect. Don't wait for any of that. Just put the idea out there, learn from what the feedback you get, and then say, okay, didn't quite work with that, but I know how I can do it now.
Yeah.
That's the bit that's so special.
Yeah.